The mistakes I've seen. My wife brought up divorce last Friday without telling me any of the truth. She fed me lies about how she grew attraction to her coworker and was feeling wanderlust. We had deep conversations and she said after a couple of days that she wanted to work on us. Some of her actions and words didn't match up and I had the sickening feeling she was already cheating. I did a despicable thing and snooped on her phone. I saw the sort of texts they have been sending since last Thursday. Exchanging nudes, creating meetup times for the weekends, scheming how to fake a business trip. Oh, and also how the friend said he didn't want to date and instead remain friends with benefits on the same day she wanted to work on us, so she is not genuine. She got rejected by her buddy and wants to crawl back to me. I want a divorce, but we have 2 kids, post-lockdown, and low income at the moment. Hell, I wanted to go to counseling at first. She made me feel like it was entirely my fault she wanted a divorce, but that wasn't true. Now, I don't want to waste my money on that. The kicker is that this isn't the first time. She dirty texted, according to her, a mutual friend 5 years ago. Oh, and when I confronted her about the texts, I got new info on an old cheat. She told me 4 years ago she got a hand job from another friend when at the time, a month after the fact, she told me she only kissed the friend. Like I'm still getting new information of past cheating. I can't trust what she says because she could be just hiding the whole truth and only feeding me what she wants me to know. If I didn't snoop, she wouldn't have told me anything, her words. They are still texting, but she says they aren't texting. Like I can even trust that anymore. When I told her, I have to question the last 5 years of my life and my son is 3 years old. She didn't like that and was like, get a DNA test if you can't believe he is yours. The way she said it hurt, cause I love these kids. I don't want to doubt them. They are too special to me, more so than she is right now. I didn't even know post-nup was a thing. She was super against prenup when I thought that was the norm. I'm starting to feel trapped. The kids need care and I don't think I would be able to support them on my own. I had to quit my job and schooling when my wife had a small breakdown about a year ago. Said she hated being home alone with the kids. I admit there is a tinge of anger when I think about how I threw my education away to support this woman through college. I know that we will need family counseling no matter what the outcome is. Our daughter is just too distraught. I just think it's rather unfair that our daughter has to go through this kind of thing. I'm an absolute mess. Today I blew my top. I have their whole conversation on my phone and I read it again and I just broke. I was screaming and the only thing that grounded me back to reality was the kids crying. They don't deserve this. She's acting remorseful, but that's not enough for me. I'm still fuming and trying to collect myself. I feel stuck. I have nowhere to go. No one to talk to. We had always anchored each other as the emotional support, probably why the betrayal hurt so bad. I called therapists around and there was a few willing to set up phone consultations with me and the kids. I'd prefer to be talking in person, but lockdown and all. What a great time to cheat, but whatever. She said she was sorry, that she just got a wild hair up her ass and was throwing us away for nothing. That you're the only one who will ever love me anyways and I ruined it. We've had a few spats here or there. She usually shuts down and says she's not allowed to cry since she is the bad guy, which somehow makes me feel like the bad guy. She said she probably wasn't going to actually go through with it. Remorse is tricky because I don't know if she is remorseful for trying to abandon our marriage or just getting caught doing it. Even yesterday she admitted that he still messages her, but they don't talk in that way anymore, that it's all kind of gone sour for her and she won't message him first or let him thirst. I'm trying to be patient with this, but I honestly don't want any contact. Plus, what is the point of deactivating your Facebook if you can still use its messenger? Throughout this whole process I've been trying to figure out my own thoughts and feelings. This girl was my high school sweetheart and is literally the only partner I've ever been with, physically. For a while I thought that I couldn't live without her. Since all this started, I've taken solace in the thought process that if we can't work things out, then I am okay with cutting her from my life. That I can live without her. Against my better judgment, and the judgment of others, I have decided to stay and work on our marriage. I admit that on my insides I even have that wild hair that wants to go out and party and have casual encounters. It's actually strange saying that nearing my 30s. We settled down really young. So, I kind of see where she is coming from, but I do not like how she handled it. I expressed that there will be NC and if she does that as a clear indication of her choice. I asked her why she hasn't cut him off entirely from the start. She took a while to respond, but she said she realizes she might have been keeping him as a backup since this is the first time she felt for sure I was going to leave her. I didn't want to have to make it into an ultimatum, but I did. I told her to tell him that she is married and this needs to stop now. I am helping her compose a message today, as suggested here. Their affair never made it to the physical part. I intervened rather early into this. This might be the driving reason as to why I am reconciling. It's been a roller coaster here, but we have been talking and communicating more. She has therapy on the 21st. I look forward to it actually. If she lets me, I can sit in with her. My comment: another nice guy bites the dust. Oh, poor guy, he is just getting schooled at home from his piece of crap wife. She has been running him ragged and she's got full control. Let me tell you something, the way she's acting, this is not her first rodeo nor her last, because she knows that you do not have a backbone whatsoever to do the right thing for yourself. You want to believe that she has not been physical with this guy. Don't worry about that, she has with many guys. And I know you can say, oh, you don't know her. Oh yes, I do. There's nothing special about her, she's one of many pos women out there. You'll be back letting us know how she just couldn't hold up her end of the bargain. Or you'll be too embarrassed to you, but please don't be embarrassed, there's many of you on here. OP responds, we actually are doing a bit better. I say that despite today being a huge crap show. I snooped on her messenger, he's still there but no messages between the two. I looked at all of her conversations and I opened up a new wound. She had vented, while cheating, to her close friend about how the relationship is so bad and that I'm abusive and whatnot. Total piece of crap. She was setting me up to be the bad guy so she wouldn't feel bad for cheating. She was just blowing hot air out my bottom. Eventually she even told this friend that I caught her cheating, and her friend's response, that's rough. Then they dropped that convo and talk about drawing. I was blown away that her friend, I've known her just as long as my wife, I even consider her my friend, would just let it slide that cheating took place. No discussion, just total rug sweeping. So, I got my reputation dragged through the mud between her friends and her AP, and probably his friends, that I was abusive. I'm definitely on rage mode today, and I feel fresh hurt. Despite all that crap, we have been doing a lot better with reconciliation. There is a lot more open communication going on. I still have a huge lack of trust for her, that's why I snoop, I guess. It's definitely a long road and we just took a few steps back. So, I got to collect my thoughts. I completely understand the viewpoint that I have no reason to stay in this marriage. Some of the things she vented to her friend, like I wish he'd just let me be free, really stick out in my mind. Once she is home, we are going to have to hash all this out. We've been texting today but it's not the same. I said to her, maybe two people can love each other and want to be with each other but are still too toxic to stay together. But yeah, she has only had a past partner and a rapist. Other than that, I am her first long-term relationship and she is my first relationship at all. Again, for all the doubters, it never got physical. She doesn't know where he lives other than he lives about 1.5 hours away, because I know that. He works 12-hour shifts 6 days a week. They have a small window to do anything, and that time never came up since I caught her rather quickly. It was just easier to text for them. Not saying she wouldn't have met up, she definitely tried. What a thirsty bee. As I was about to try to log off her Facebook from the tablet, I wanted to distance myself from reading past messages. She gets a message from the app. The crap show thickens today. I guess props for telling me at least. Final update, she is on the fence about reconciliation. I suspect because of the AP. She once said to me today, I feel like I have Stockholm you, and that she thinks she needs to let me be free now. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm an absolute wreck and I can't process this. I guess I somehow blame myself for everything as if I cheated, even though I've not so much as even had the thought cross my mind. I'd like honesty and it took till 2 a.m. but she admitted that she wants to go out and have her fun, then have me to come home to. I don't know what to think. I know she is wired differently, so maybe it's possible she just wants to be wild then come home to me. Times are weird, post-lockdown and infidelity. I think I'm going to call the therapist tomorrow. I can't even process what I'm thinking about anymore. Incoherent ramblings at 3 in the morning. What's so redeeming of her? I'm going to sleep on that one and get back to you. More crap hit the fan. I am such a chump and a weak person. She asked me permission to go over to his house this weekend. At first, I was feeling so much negative and now I can't feel anything at all. I probably won't be on this site in a while since I have a lot of crap to do in real life now. I wish I was a troll. I wish it was all just made up stories. But it's not. Just a dude whose life is on fire and I'm watching it go down. Seriously, I might be mentally ill. Oh, guys, it's been so totally screwed here. I don't even feel comfortable letting you know, but since so many of the popcorn eaters want answers, I'll give you this update. She asked for permission. Just hearing it made me want to flee. I tried to process it all and I couldn't. I shut down emotionally, no longer feeling anything. Even the hurt that was so constant just faded to nothing. I said yes. Something like just get it out of her system played in my head. That and we are young so might as well be wild, or, as foolish as it sounds, she'll come back so it's okay. Like I know I'm not doing anything right. I read every comment and gave them all thought. I still ended up just doing things in my own unhealthy way. I wanted out but then I wanted to stay, and then it became a feeling of I have to stay no matter what. I might as well be blind and deaf with how little I have followed the advice given. Sorry guys. Saturday was the day. He lives an hour and a half away and the meetup time was 4 p.m. For some goddamn reason, she was a nervous wreck. Gets what she wants and throws on waterworks, and I ended up comforting her. Remind her she doesn't have to. But she still left. I kept myself busy with the kids and chores. I still didn't have any feelings. It was so strange. The last text was a snap from inside her car that she arrived. From my point of view, time slowed to a goddamn crawl. But still I felt nothing. I gave her a curfew of before midnight, reminding her that she has children too. Well, let's skip to when she gets home, 30 minutes before curfew. She walks through the door and I greeted her with positivity, though I didn't feel that. I had her sit down and made her a quick snack. She explained everything from the moment she arrived, but I'll spare some details. They hung out and watched a funny movie on Netflix. Then came the cliche 20 minutes in look and of course started to get heated. Took it back to the bedroom and the rest is history. Following that they cozy up and watched another movie. Said they used protection and I believe her. She describes a pretty normal encounter and for some reason out of all the emotions I could have felt it was relief that hit me. Isn't that messed up? After hearing the encounter, I was relieved. It's been weird. I seek help from the corners of the internet in very strange places. Thought maybe I wasn't as monogamous as I thought. I don't know. When I first got asked permission, I was looking at divorce lawyers, therapy, even workout regimes. I browsed schooling options. I looked into employments. I was trying to find cheap apartments. I basically planned for separation. After the fact, it was like it didn't matter anymore. I talked with a counselor and now I have my first appointment this coming Monday. I've actually lost a lot of weight since this began. I'm finally under 180. My target is 163, so working out has been feeling good. I'm making better home-cooked meals and just all around seem to be on a healthy track. Just not relationship-wise. I'm hoping therapy can knock something loose in me, whatever it is that keeps me in this toxic marriage. It's like when I'm around her I feel good and when she is gone, I feel like crap. Oh yeah, feelings trickled back in and I was my good old panic attack having self. No idea what I'm going to do with our marriage. I told my wife that the door is available to both of us. I'm not trapped here the same as she isn't either, though I didn't believe that myself. I thought about finding my own booty call to see how she'd feel, but part of me just doesn't want to stoop to her level. So that's the gist of it. Oh, wait, let me rewind. This dude doesn't know that I know what's going on. I felt like that wasn't right. Last night I sent a Facebook PM to him basically telling him I know what's going on. My wife actually saw me start this and tried to help me compose a text that wasn't filled with rage, probably an attempt to not scare off her fling. Don't know when or if he'll read it, kind of hope it makes this whole thing lose its passion because of it. No more secrets meant it wasn't forbidden fruit but instead boring overweight fruit. I know what you guys are going to say. I know it all deep down, it hurts to even make this comment. I just take smaller steps than most and I feel like I can get out of this toxicity by doing it in my slow way. I just want to be financially independent and mentally sound before I do anything. Again, sorry for basically disregarding what hundreds of people tell me. I feel very alone in all this. This kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I have no close friends. I have no one to confide in or even talk to on a regular basis. So that's another thing I'm working on, making friends. I'm going to regret this comment. But here you go. She is as toxic as antifreeze in your orange juice. Oh, and I'm stealing this saying from now on. It's so true. Ultimately, my long-term goal is separation. I need to secure myself before I can secure my future. Not everyone has options to leave. Yeah, I made snacks because I've read that it has calming effects when having stressful talks. I think it worked for me. I first came to YouTube through hurt and heartbreak. I was met with a lot of harsh truths that I wasn't ready to accept. I've done so much in real life talking with my wife and self-reflection that I couldn't translate a play-by-play to this place. I really want to delete this. I know what I'm going to do. I have a plan for the future. I only gave this update because of the comments asking for details. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come back. My life is screwed up, I am screwed up, and I'm just trying to get by. The kids think we are all better and maybe when they grow up a bit, they can learn the truth of the matter. Until then, baby steps. The AP reached out that he got the message and said they should put things on hold. Right, unless our marriage ends. Oh, in which case they might try something. Oh, and she says it's not fair to trap each other. So basically, she is hinting at divorce. She isn't the straightforward type. Yes, this is it for me, guys. I should have been the one to take control of the relationship, but she had it from day one and even gets to end it on her terms. She gets home from work in an hour. I am a stupid, worthless person. I still want to reconcile. I'm weak, too weak. I just want all this pain to stop. No, it goes beyond being weak. I know if she says she wants to stay with me, I'd take her back in a heartbeat. I'm broken, so very broken. Few months later, I was really hoping to come back to this update and prove everyone wrong after my marriage heals and gets better, that cheating doesn't have to be the end of a relationship. Boy, was I wrong. Anyways, as an update, I am getting a divorce with my cheating wife. A lot of crap has happened since I was last on here. She has become out of control and I want nothing to do with it anymore. I can count on two hands the number of people she cheated with me before I couldn't take it anymore. I honestly wish I divorced her 5 years ago. I should have had more self-respect this whole time, but my self-image and esteem were at an all-time low. I somehow thought my only option in life was to be stuck in a miserable marriage with a woman sleeping around on me. Now I realize that is not the case. The struggle is real since we have yet to finish the paperwork, and then wait 90 days according to state laws. Bummer. You guys were right. I should have been done with this relationship instead of agreeing to her sick demands. She is toxic and spiraling out of control. I have no doubt she is sleeping with multiple people right now while feeding them whatever lies she sees fit. I'll heal and I'll recover, but people like her and BS fake friends who were willing to sleep with her. I got to cut out a lot of toxic people from my life. I get it. I placed my own happiness in the hands of another, which isn't a healthy relationship really. I wasted 5 years of my life trying to be the best husband to my unfaithful wife. Don't make those kinds of mistakes. You can't get that time back when it all becomes wasted effort. As a warning to people who have just discovered possible cheating, seriously have a very long think about the situation you are in. You are not to be blamed for the actions of others, but how you react to those actions is on you. Self-respect goes a long way, and you need to respect yourself enough to not be cheated on or be treated as a backup option. Divorce has the biggest emotional turmoil, but you will be better off without those who disrespect you in your life. Seriously, it's not about other forms of toxicity, it's simply just respecting yourself to be treated right by others. As for blasting the world of your partner's infidelity, I would recommend against anything beyond telling just the basics to family and friends. No sense in creating drama before a divorce is even finalized, let alone an ongoing parenting plan, when the partner can get pretty vindictive, especially narcissistic cheaters. My comment: sorry, knew the train was coming but still hate to see the wreck. Hang in there. You'll get through it if you keep moving forward. Strength to you. Take care of number one, and that is you. Get her served ASAP, then get her out. One day at a time. Story 2. The Help. So, the backstory: my wife and I had been together almost 10 years and married almost 2 of those years. Before dating, we started as friends. We hung out daily and she literally became my best friend. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship that I had a son in, and she had just gotten out of a relationship that she had a daughter in. I wasn't looking for a relationship, but the more we hung out, the more I just started to fall in love with her and her the same. One night we finally just went at it and had the most passionate bonding. From there we were both so in love. She stuck with me through some of the worst times of my life and rode it out with me right by my side when most women would have left. Her daughter's father was a deadbeat, so I was and still am to this day the father to her daughter. About 3 years into our relationship, we had a daughter of our own. We were very busy with work and kids, so we didn't get to have all that alone time we used to have. We also were both stressed and tired and would argue and fuss just like every other couple. Another year later, we were really arguing but still like best friends. We are both really stubborn and don't know when to say sorry. We had a pretty bad argument one night and she said she wanted to take a break. I was devastated. A few weeks later, she had met another guy. They started dating and I was completely crushed. I mean, just absolutely miserable. It still hurts to think about today. They lasted a few months and broke up, and we ended up back together. From this point, it was never really the same. I considered it cheating, which obviously she started talking to him when we were having problems and thought the grass was greener. It really killed my trust with her. She realized it, changed me, and begged to let her prove herself to be perfect and show me I was the one she wanted to be with and that it was a mistake. And she was perfect. She never went out, never gave me any reason to suspect any other guys, and let me know she loved me very much. Our physical life was always amazing. Still, I kind of left this wall up. I couldn't completely give her all of me like I used to. Now, a little backstory on her: she had a very bad childhood with some very awful things that happened to her which have caused PTSD and very bad anxiety to this day. If it's from her childhood, but she is a runner. When we have very bad fights, she runs to stay with her family instead of staying and talking it out. This happened multiple times. She would realize it and say she needed to stop doing it but couldn't, so it kind of became the norm. Fast forward to about 1.5 years ago and we got married. We both loved each other very much still, and I thought this may also break that wall down that I had built up. It didn't though. I couldn't give her the affection she wanted and practically begged for. She says now she would argue just to get some attention from me. Anyway, during one of our fights I said that maybe we should just divorce and be done. I didn't mean it, but I was just mad. She left and went to her family's as usual, and I basically expected her to come back like she would, but she never really did. For months we were still together, but there's so many arguments she was basically not even living at the house. She finally asked if I was really done and I said yes, my biggest regret ever. So, she moved on. About a month or so after me saying that she had met someone else. They have now been dating about a month and she says she is happier than she has ever been. I tried to ask for marriage counseling but she declined. She still talks to me pretty regularly and is almost trying to friend zone me, which I'm not going to have. The guy she is with is gone and will be for a while. So, she only gets to see him via Skype and phone, but did admit to sleeping with him before he left, which crushed me. How can someone you've been with for almost a decade and took their daughter in as your own just turn their back on you and move on so quick? I expected us to get over our fight and fix things. I wasn't even thinking about being with other people. The thought of her making love to him the way we did just kills me. I know begging and pleading isn't going to do any good, but I have made it clear I don't want a divorce. She does. She says we are just bad for each other and she has moved on happily with her life. Nothing helps the pain and regret. I just wish she were back home and I could give her that affection she was desperately begging for. The affection the new guy is showing her. I just don't know what to do. I can't see myself with anyone else. We were best friends and knew each other better than anyone else. I can't go on without her. For the record, I said begging and pleading isn't going to do any good, meaning I haven't been doing that. I've had limited contact, which involves discussions about the kids. She will still try to text me like a friend, but I rarely reply and usually just yes and no answers. She asks for favors, I don't do them. I think I may have been a bit misunderstood. We had deep conversations about her childhood trauma, and she even said that she sometimes feels like she needs to sabotage something that is going good in her life. Akami. We had that discussion after she cheated. She was very genuine with her reasons for it, and that she just feels like she doesn't deserve happiness. This in turn made me feel like I needed to be even more of a protector for her, which is why I took her back. I loved this woman deeply and understood that what happened to her screwed her up all throughout her life, and that she didn't have to worry about that with me. I made that clear over and over, but it just didn't do any good. Like you said, her reasoning and mine are programmed completely different. It's a lot deeper than just some crap going out and cheating. I am familiar with the 180 and the LC and all of that. I learned about it the first time she cheated on me. I should have listened and took a lot of the advice back then, but was stupid and didn't. I know my username and a few comments of mine may make it sound like I'm sitting around sobbing, but I'm not. I would love more than anything to make my marriage work and have my family back, but it's gone. I'm just wasting time at this point thinking about the past. She has moved on, is sleeping with another man, and there would be no way I could make it work. I wouldn't be able to make love to her again without thinking about her doing that with this guy. It's over, I realize it. Tonight, STBX wanted my daughter, so she called and asked if she could borrow money for gas because she doesn't get her check until tomorrow and had no way to get her and get back her tomorrow morning to get her to school. She lives about 20 to 30 minutes away now. At first, I said no and that my daughter could just stay here again if she couldn't afford to come get her, but then I remembered that I have work early in the morning and she is too young to get herself up, ready into the bus, so I ended up giving in and giving her the money. I felt like a chump, like it was a test that I failed, but what am I to do in a situation like that? I have no family around here that could have helped me in the morning and no one else I could call last minute tonight to come do it. She thanked me and I told her she didn't need to thank me, that it wasn't for her, it was for my daughter. The thing that pisses me off is I know for a fact she traveled and had the gas to go see her BF just last night. She doesn't know that, and I didn't let her know that I know. But it makes me feel like a chump because she knew she was getting our daughter today, so why wouldn't she have saved the money for her daughter over her BF? Did I do the wrong or right thing? I just really didn't have any other option for my daughter. She cheated once before marriage, came running back when the feels good wore off and she realized he wasn't Mr. Right, and I took her back. Things were never the same, and that was 5 years ago. I never could give her 100% of my love and affection the way I could before that. I guess it was my subconscious knowing not to do it because of the pain I would go through again. That's why the pain isn't as bad this time and why I'm moving forward so much easier. I prepared myself for it ever since the first time it happened. The first affair, I was a complete train wreck, damn near suicidal, and I don't consider myself a soft man, but I deeply loved her, and the connection I thought we shared was so strong that cheating wasn't even in the mind of either of us. I need to realize that I don't understand women how I thought I did. Seems the minute they don't get that attention they crave or have some type of mental health issue, they will cheat at the drop of a dime. I did my fair share of dogging women out in my early years, but as I matured, I realized how wrong that was to toy with someone's emotions. Maybe it's karma for all the bad I did to women in my early adulthood. I can't sit around and be a pathetic man sobbing my entire life away. Do I miss her? Hell yay. Do I miss my family together and hate that my children now have a broken up family? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I let it be known I wanted marriage counseling to fix us. I stayed loyal and committed our entire relationship. I wanted her back home to fix things. She chose her bed. Am I guilty of our relationship problems? Yes, I am, and I own up to my half of it. I could have been more affectionate. I could have tried harder to get the kids a babysitter and had more date nights. I could have been nicer when I came home some days from work in a bad mood. No marriage is perfect though. It takes a balance of communication, commitment, and understanding from both sides in order to make it work. Marriage is hard, and she ran from ours every time things went wrong. It got to feeling like a teenage daughter than a wife, having to chase back down the teenager who ran away because she was upset. There are also many great qualities I miss about her, but overall, it's dead. What we had is dead. There's no reviving it, and I am coming to terms with that whether I like it or not. I do suffer from depression, and this has made that worse. My self-esteem is at an all-time low. I feel no woman wants a man with 2 failed relationships with children from both. I fear being alone, which brings on horrible anxiety. So, for now I've been just working and spending time with my children. I am going to take small steps into getting myself back out in the world and a chance to meet new people. Right now, I'm just not ready. With my son's mom, I was in love with her, so I thought, and we got in a huge fight one evening, so she asked to be dropped off at her mom's. This was back in my early 20s. She left the car all upset, crying, and later that night went camping with some friends and slept with a man who actually turned out to be her husband now, ironically. Anyway, she begged and pleaded, and like a fool I took her back as well. Few years went by, we got engaged and had a son. She was such a drama queen though, and not the one for me. Beautiful as can be, I mean model material, but so ugly on the inside and still is. Treats her husband the same way she always did me. Anyway, point to all this is I have been cheated on a few times in my life by women who meant a lot to me, so I have learned almost to not let it tear you up inside. It does no good. It's not going to change what happened, and they certainly have no remorse for it even if they cry and say they do. You don't cheat on someone you love. On a side note, I used to cheat on almost all my girlfriends in my late teens, so maybe it's karma I am receiving for all the hearts I broke. Anyway, maybe with time I will build the courage to start speaking out to the weak men and trying to give them an understanding that sobbing for months or years on end is only destroying themselves, while the person they are sobbing about is probably having the best bonding of their life. Update: this separation is beginning to feel like a roller coaster ride that I desperately want off. I've been handling the NC very well. Haven't spoken much at all the last week or so unless it was about the kids and of importance. Well, today I had off work. When she left, she moved out of the kids' school district, so she brings them here in the morning to get on the bus, grab some things they may need inside, etc. So, she came in this morning, woke me up, and was acting all friendly. I was keeping it to yes, no responses, and soon enough the bus came and she left. Later on, in the morning, she texted a question regarding our daughter, and then follows up with she thought about climbing into bed this morning, and then again with never mind. Then asked if I'd like to take her out to lunch. I told her I couldn't do that and asked why she was doing this, that everything is hard enough as is, so basically why toy with my emotions. She agreed, apologized, and then said she would leave me alone. She can't though. She has let me know she misses me and that this is hard on her too, but declined marriage counseling or coming back home to make it work. I finally just said today to tell me she's so done for good and that she is never coming back and I will start the divorce process. I got no reply. What is it with her? Is she making sure that I still care and have feelings in case who she moved on to doesn't work out? I just don't get it anymore. She can say how bad things had got and that it didn't even feel like home to her anymore, but she can't tell me that it's over for good and proceed with the divorce. I keep feeling strong and that I'm moving in the right direction, and then little things like this start me right back at square one. I can't help that I am still in love with her and asked today if she was still in love with me, and she said of course. God, I just don't get this woman. The funny thing about coming in my house is her big thing about not wanting to come back is that it started not even feeling like her home anymore. She felt like a guest but has no problem coming in to get them ready in the morning, come into my room and wake me up, etc. Usually. The case is my daughter stays with me most of the time, so as soon as she gets there, I leave for work, so I have my daughter's stuff laid out so my daughter can get up, get dressed, and have her mom take her to the bus stop down the street or drive her to school. So sometimes her coming in unfortunately has to happen, but I'm not there. However, she knows my days off, and today being one of them, she had no reason to come in but walked right on into the home that doesn't feel like a home. Anyway, I've blocked her from everything. I bought my daughter a phone for her B-Day, so there is no reason we need to speak anymore. If it's an emergency regarding the kids, she can reach me on my daughter's phone. I refuse to keep having my emotions screwed with. We've never went even a week without talking our entire relationship, even when she cheated years ago, so here's to a start of a new life. I have this awful fear I am going to be alone the rest of my life. My comment: well, change the locks anyhow, don't you see these are the consequences of her cheating? And she has clothes at her location for your daughter. And doing what has been recommended to your already doesn't mean you don't love your daughter, but rather, you stop being the doormat and push over to your cheating wife. Nothing more, so don't use this as a crutch to validation to let her do anything she wants to do.